Well, again, here we go again. I guess we'll start off and excited for a new year. I think that's the biggest thing. Last year was a long year, and you finish with a win, which helps propel you into the off season and some things. But just with where we were last year and going through an entire winter, and then going through an entire spring football, this is a long time coming. So I know that I'm not the only one excited. I think our players are a lot more excited. And I mean that because of, as you guys probably know, 21 days at higher ground is different. And, it's a great opportunity. It's great for us, but the ability to come back onto campus, to get into game week is a big deal. And, no bigger deal to us than to these guys, especially some of these seniors that have been around here for quite a while. So I think that if I would probably say the strength of what we got to do this year, the strength of our team, the strength of our program, the strength for in order for us to have the season that we expect to have, it's going to have to start up front. And the offense and defensive line is going to be the strength of us. That's going to have to be the strength of us. We've got 3 starters on defense returning. Would have 4 probably if Kevin Muhan hadn't got hurt there at the end of spring football. And then we've got 4 starters, senior starters on the offensive line. So we pride ourselves on being a offensive line and defensive line driven program. There's no better place than I'd say I'd rather start than up front. And I think through the development of what we've done, obviously a lot of these D-line guys have played a while, but the development of what we've done and how we've kind of pushed forward to have 4 seniors up front on the offensive line. Another guy that's going to he's a junior because he's probably going to get a 6th year. So that's where the strength of where we are. That's where we're going to lay our, kind of our hat with those guys up front on both sides of the football. And we have to do everything we can to allow them guys to play and play well for us. And then I'd say, probably there's no greater opportunity than to start off the season in a venue like the Rose Bowl. These guys probably haven't experienced anything like it, and I believe it's probably one of the greatest venues in college football, and I think it's going to be an exciting time for us. I'm excited for our guys. I'm excited for our program. I'm excited to get there. So we don't want to rush to Saturday, but I think I said the other day that Saturday can't come quick enough. And not just for me, but for all these guys in this program. So probably open it up for any questions.
Obviously, it's in a different spot and different personnel, but you, as a defensive coordinator, game plan for Chip Kelly before. Do you think that helps in any way, at least understanding what he's...
Yeah, there are, but I think there's a lot of unknowns. Just like a lot of times going into that first game, there's a lot of unknowns. I think even a guy going into the first game of a guy who was, in a new program, there's a lot of unknowns. But I think coming from the NFL, I think I've studied him and played him, and even after he left Oregon and a lot of the similar things that they've done. But you're just kind of curious as to what he's evolved and what he's kind of adapted and changed a little bit being in the NFL for 3 or 4 years and then being out for a year. So there's a lot of unknowns. I know that offensively they're going to be about tempo, they're going to be about speed, and you can't let that affect you. So other than that, you're trying to break down some NFL film. You're still trying to break down some Oregon film. Most important thing is we just got to prepare our guys to understand that we can't allow the speed to affect us in a negative way.
At running back, looking at the depth chart here, Michael Warren's at the top, Sexton Ward, Jared Does Stokes still?
We don't know. I mean. No, he's been plagued with a little bit of a groin hip throughout the entire camp. So it's one of those things that we're going to continue to push him and to see how he feels, and it'll be a game time decision. He hasn't done a whole lot, which is why to me Mike is still the guy that's going to have to be the one to carry the load. And then we'll see what we can get out of Jared as we get further along in the week, and then as we get to game time. Well, I probably should have just opened up with it. As you know, we haven't said who is our starter. Probably won't say anything until they take the first snap. So I think no matter who's at the helm there, it's that you always rely upon your quarterback. And to me, the quarterback is not just about the guy that throws the football the best, the guy that does the guy who knows the offense the best. No, the guy who can truly make everybody around him better. And how does he do that? By his approach to every single thing he does, whether it's a Monday practice, a Tuesday practice, whether it's taking the field on a Saturday, how do you handle a bad play, a negative play, an interception. All those things go into the factor of who the quarterback is and how he's going to be, how he's going to handle it, and how the guys around him are going to react and respond. So either way, with either guy in there, we're going to have to do a lot of things around him, and that's why you want those senior lineman guys to be the ones that you're really putting the pressure on as much as you possibly can. And then we all know that there's pressure on the quarterback. To me, it's the college quarterback is the second hardest job in America. The first one being the NFL quarterback, the second one being the college quarterback. Everything is designed in order to take advantage of them, to intimidate them, to do things to mess with them. So they've got a tough job. And that's why we try to put a focus on, hey, how do everybody around them, how do they help the quarterback? How does a wide receiver help a quarterback? Well, he makes plays. You don't have to have a perfect throw every single time. How does the offensive line help the quarterback? It's protection. How does the offensive line also help the quarterback? Running the football. So a lot of those things free it up. So we are looking at those quarterbacks and saying, hey, everything's just not on you. We're going to pile a lot of this stuff on the guys up front and kind of build from there.
You talked about how, in college you don't get a real true scrimmage or preseason game or anything like that. With so many young players going into this first game, what are you most interested or intrigued to see?
I think the growth, and I think we talk about it. I probably excited as much as anything to see where we are. I have high expectations, I really do. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm going to make any statements on what we're going to do and how what it's going to look like at the end of the season. I'm not going to make predictions, but I really have high expectations on how we play. And I think that's what I'm most intrigued to see is as we go out on Saturday. I know there's a lot of factors, and being away, being in a venue like the Rose Bowl, you hear about the tempo and the things that UCLA will present to you as some challenges. But I'm really most excited to see how we've grown in the things that we've done on the field and off the field through the offseason. That's where my expectation is really high, is to see how those guys play together and handle the tougher situations, the tougher environments, being down 7 points, giving up a turnover, so having a big play on defense. To me, I actually am excited about seeing how our guys will react and respond so much greater than, not knowing a lot last year. So to me, that's where I believe the greatest growth is. That's where, I'm intrigued to make sure to see the things that we put these guys through, whether it's 21 days out of higher ground, the things we've done all through the winter and the spring to really get, that trust, love, and respect as a group and as a team and as a program to see it on display.
You mentioned the venue. Is there any way to prepare them for what it's going to be like walking in there? Or is it just
No, we'll take them over Friday night, and I think today. I think back in the days when you didn't see and didn't know a lot of things. And today the world is so much smaller. These guys have either watched games, watched them replayed on TV. They're not saying they've been there, but I don't know that it's as big a deal. It's not intimidating as much anymore. Where sometimes you go to one of those stadiums where you walk in, it's like an intimidating factor. Noise and different things like that. But in today's day and age, where there's no surprises, all these guys have seen it and been around it. And I don't know that the stadium. I don't think that that's one of those issues. I think just going on the road and having the ability to, handle the time change and the things that are going to that we have to do as a team and as a program are going to be more impactful than, the weather or the size of a stadium.
Talk about speed and quarterback. On their side, they're throwing a couple of different, they haven't said who's going to play. So their first game, again, you have no idea what you're going up against. However, faced one of them last year, and then secondly, if you look at the other two guys, totally different type of styles.
Which makes it difficult to prepare. And, they're not going to tip their hand. I don't think that a lot of people are going to do that. So, does it challenge you? Yeah. And I think what it does is that's where I'm most excited to see the growth that we've made as a team and as a program, defensively in particular as we speak, because as they take the field, their minds have to be understanding not just what we do, but what are they up against? Depending on who's at quarterback, do we have are we going to be something different defensively? No. But they have to think a little bit different, just understanding what the vulnerabilities and what they could do based on who's at that quarterback spot. So, they're not going to completely change their offense. And we've seen, what Chip's done in the NFL with a guy that, you know, is not going to run around back there like Marcus Mariota or some of the other guys he's had. But they also know that they've got some of those guys that are on the side, and you know, that's kind of what makes it exciting. And that's what you really, to be honest, that's what you're relying upon your guys to understand. You can give them all the info. Now can they go out there and process, translate, still play fast, still play aggressive, and still play with great confidence.
Someone who played defense and has coached defense for a long time, with you not having a starting quarterback and the other team not knowing it, and vice versa on the other side as well, how difficult is that to plan for, to have two quarterbacks with different styles, not knowing which guy's going to be the guy?
Well, I think why Chip Kelly has been really good is it doesn't matter exactly who his quarterback is and what they do. You know, they have a system. Their system is adaptable based on, you know, is the quarterback going to run or is he going to have a relief throw maybe? You know, they still are going to be who they are. It's still going to be about tempo. There's still going to be about an element of the quarterback having an opportunity to run. But it's not like they're going to go all of a sudden to a pro-style offense if they've got Wilton Spade in there and they're going to go to the complete, you know, what he has done in the past and what you saw maybe more at Oregon if they've got a running quarterback. So the makings of a good program and a great coach is, you know, they have a system, not just plays. They have a system, you know, that has to be a little bit adaptable based on what the strengths are of their guys. And so you're still going to see the same system. You're still going to see the base of the same things. That's why I think for us defensively is just to understand, you know, who's behind center, who's taking the snap, you know, and understand what they do well. You know, if there's a guy back there that is very athletic, that not saying they're not going to throw the football, but just got to understand it, how you rush and the things that you do, you know, you got to be a little bit more under control. If you've got a guy that's not as much of a runner, yeah, there's an aggressive nature maybe that you can take in some pass rush and some things that you can do, you know, maybe a slight bit different.
On the offensive side, does it give you a little bit more comfort knowing you've got the size at the line of scrimmage this year to hopefully be able to run the ball with a little bit better, you know, a little bit more consistency?
Yeah, I think that's what we want to be. That's what we want to be able to pride ourselves in. Not only have those guys developed and worked, but you're right, there is some more size up there. There's some more strength up there. And that's what we got to rely upon. So, yeah, I mean, again, I like to have, you know, Jared Dokes and 3 or 4 guys deep in the back end, too, and at the run of the ball, and have those guys healthy so we can continue to have some options there as well. But no matter what, we want to be a program that's going to be kind of driven through the offensive line. And I don't just mean just with offensive linemen. I mean just with that mentality that it's tough, hard-nosed, nasty. That's what the game's all about, and that's what we want to be able to pride ourselves on.
You've emphasized leadership a lot on both sides of the ball. It's something that's important to you. Do you feel like you have those players heading into the season that, you know, you can rely on from that standpoint?
I got some different beliefs in leadership. I mean, there aren't, to me, just natural-born leaders. There's natural-born qualities. You know, there's guys that have the qualities as a leader that they're born with, and then there's a lot of it's development. And I think that's, you know, whether we have leadership training, leadership training is every single day in the things that we do. You know, it's whether in the weight room. Well, it's not leadership training, it's weightlifting. I know, but it's leadership training being in the way that you kind of put guys and back guys into corners and, you know, put them in groups and to see who can kind of push themselves to come forward and, you know, not just say what everybody wants to hear. So we do a lot of that stuff. It'll be on display, and I think that's where you want to see where the growth has happened for you. You know, there's guys with natural leadership qualities, but natural leadership qualities can also take people the wrong way if they're not used right. So I believe we've got it. I believe we've worked on it an incredible amount, much more this year than we ever did last year because we got to know guys and just trying to figure out who was more competitive and things like that. So all those things is, you know, you want to talk about, well, what quarterback and what is Chip Kelly going to do? I'm most, you know, curious to see exactly how our leadership shows and how we handle those things and how those bonds that we've built and those things we've done are gonna win out and show out, you know, when it really matters.
You've got some guys that were part of your first recruiting class, some guys that took a leap with you when you took the job. They're cracking into the 2 deep and even into the starting rotation. Is that exciting to see some of that young blood coming into the program?
Again, I think that it's all exciting. You don't want to neglect the Cortez Broughton and the Marquise Copelands and, you know, the Garrett Campbells who were here when we got here. It's still fun to see how those guys have grown and how they've kind of taken to the things. So sometimes it's harder to get those guys to really dig deep and believe in the things that you do when they haven't seen the success, you know. It's really exciting to see any of those young guys where they start to really kind of mature in front of your eyes and have an opportunity to go out and play. So there's a lot of excitement about a lot of those things. There's, heck, we've got grad transfers that I'm excited to see how they mesh into the things that we do and how those other guys accept them in those tough and hard times. So in the first week, there's always a lot of things to be excited about. There's things that have little butterflies and keep you worried about. But I think all in all together, it's an exciting thing, and it's an exciting time. And whether they're a senior that's going to be playing for the first time, and maybe Chris Ferguson, to a redshirt freshman that might be starting, to a middle linebacker that's switching positions. So there's a lot of things, regardless if they're a redshirt freshman or a 6th-year senior, that you're excited to see.
You mentioned butterflies, Coach. Now that it's game week, at what point do you start to feel it is game week? You start to feel that game's coming up. You start to feel the pressure, the anxiety.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what we tried to do yesterday, was eliminate some of that stuff and just kind of make sure the guys, not just us, me, but as a program, to understand that this is what you work for, and sometimes you kind of go the other way and have that fear of losing and fear of not being successful, which I'll be the first one to admit that's a worry of me. But try to change that mode to say, hey, we got to trust and believe in what it is that we've done in the preparation, and don't change. You go out there, and play free and things like that in camp and then all of a sudden game week comes and you got to change things up. Trying to make sure with a younger group, without, kind of those leaders that have established themselves over a long period of time. I think that's important for us to do as a program and encourage the confidence and, not the over worries about, the end results and everything. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that Monday morning was a lot different than last week, and a lot different than in spring football. But to me, in order to be a great leader, you can't allow the things that are inside of you to affect how you handle all the other things. So we've got to be a confident group. We've got to play loose. We've got to be able to coach that way as well.
I understand, conferences, games are big, play at right at Miami big. This is obviously a spotlight game. A lot of people are interested to see what you guys do against UCLA on the road, Chip Kelly, all that stuff. How big of a game do you think this is for you guys and have the opener?
I think anytime you have a chance to go on the road, I know our conference is going to pub it and promote it, and that's what we want to be able to do is play against the other, so to speak, big timers and play on those types of stages and make a statement for the league. And yeah, we want to be able to do that. But I told our guys that yesterday that I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to talk about, I want to show the nation, I want to show everybody here. No, I want to show the people that work every single day in this room. That's who I'm most encouraged to impress and to show. Those guys that have busted their butt for 280 some days to only have 12 guaranteed paydays. To me, it's about us proving to each other, more than worrying about making it on a big stage and in front of the nation, and all those things are a factor. Don't get me wrong, but really deep down inside for our program and what we're doing, to me, it's so much more important that we as a program, go out there and be able to prove it to each other. Does that mean win? Yeah, but it also means how you handle things, how you go about things, how you take care of one another. That you have to be able to do in big games, and especially on the road.
Coach, when you faced Chip Kelly in the 2009 Rose Bowl when he was at Oregon, did you look at the game tape, and if so, is there anything that you saw that may help you prepare for Saturday night?
Yeah, we looked at a lot of game tape before we played him in the Rose Bowl, and we've looked back at his last year at Oregon. So there's a lot of things, but I don't know that there's one thing in particular. I mean, if you try to, with our guys especially, that we don't want to, be the jack of all trades and say, hey, we've given him every single thing that he's ever done over this entire time at Oregon and in the NFL, and now they're not going to be real confident about what they're doing because they've got 95 million things in their head. When in reality, it's on us as coaches to try to kind of limit it down and say, what are the things that we know we have to be able to stop, make sure our guys are confident, have the ability to be able to do it, and then be able to make adjustments and changes, based on new things that you're going to be getting, whether it's a different quarterback or not. I think that's the signs and the makings of great teams, great programs, and great coaches.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.